Going on YouTube, Cloverbells here back with another Scarlet video, and today we're going to be releasing 5 more rental codes that you can try and begin your climb back up the rank ladder. So with all of these teams, they were all made during coaching sessions with you guys, the viewers, aka the clients, and you guys have requested different things, and as a result we turned them into rental teams. And they've been tested extensively, they've been used in online tournament play, and they all did relatively well. So now we just might as well make them public, right? So we're going to show the rental codes here, and then as always when we do rental code videos, we'll not only show the rental code, but we'll show the Pokepaste with all the EV spreads, which you can also find in the video description below. But the idea, again, with showing the EV spreads is just to explain how I made the spreads the way I did them. So this way you get a better sense of what they're doing, what we calc for, what kind of speed tiers we used, that kind of stuff. So if this is something you're interested in, if you're trying to build a team still for the regulationC format, if you need something for a tournament or online rank ladder play, check out coaching on the channel. It's a team building coaching session with the tier 3 sub for the channel here. You are able to book a one-on-one session with me where we sit down in a Discord call, we build the team together, and I show you how to do all the EV spreads from scratch, and then we get you that team that we need, that you want for whatever purpose that you need it for. All right, so be sure to check out the video description for the tier 3 sub for team building. But as far as what the video is concerned over here, let's go ahead and go straight into the first rental. Alright, so here is the first rental code. It is a Roaring Moon balanced team. So the idea, again, when we create a balanced team, as always, when we follow our template that we gave out in that previous team building video, is we're going for a Dragon, Fairy, Steel, Fire, Water, Grass core, and we pretty much have that here. So we have the Roaring Moon with a Booster Energy Dragon Dance set, Terra Flying, of course, because we have Acrobatics for a little bit more extra damage. Then we have the Gyarados here, which has risen to prominence in regulationC. It's great Intimidate support. Flying typing is really good because of the anti-Tinglu stuff. And then you're just able to provide speed control with Thunder Wave, Taunt for those annoying Amoonguses and other setup Pokemon. And then of course Protect with the Citrus Berry here, a little bit more recovery. The Flutter Mane is a more aggressive Flutter Mane with Life Orb, of course. And then with the Chi-Yu, you're just able to dish out a little bit more damage. Because of Beads of Ruin, you're just dropping special defenses. It's a Safety Goggles Nasty Plot Chi-Yu. We're able to set that up with the Amoongus here in some games, which comes in relatively clutch because you're just able to sweep the entire team if you're able to outspeed them. But you can also set that up with Iron Hands here. So Iron Hands would fake out pressure. Again, you're able to either set up that Nasty Plot or also Dragon Dance if need be, and just a relatively good Pokemon in the format right now. You're able to hit those Gyaradoses and Palafins relatively hard, as with any dark type running around, because all the Ruin Pokemon are dark type. So it's good to have fighting coverage in the format. The Heavy Slam tech that we have here for steel coverage, that's of course for the opposing Flutter Manes here. With the Assault Vest, we're able to take special attacks relatively well. And then just basically KO them right back, right? The Amoongus, of course, gives you that Trick Room matchup, also gives you that redirection support that you need to be able to set up some of these Pokemon. It also has Clear Smog for those Dondozos, just to be able to remove some of their debuffs. I'm sorry, not debuffs, to remove their Commander boosts. Pollen Puff for extra healing, of course, which comes in relatively clutch. And again, it's a bug type move, which is, again, relatively good into the dark types. It's also good against Wo-Chien. So if you have Wo-Chien games that you're playing against, you definitely want to bring the Amoongus because it does relatively well into that. You can't get leak seeded, and you're just able to deal really, really big damage against it. And the Wo-Chien can't really do so much. All right, so that's the rental code. So now we're gonna take a look at the EV spreads and show you how we built the team in terms of our spreads. All right, so here's the first set of EV spreads for our first team. So basically, you're going to see that we're going to reuse a lot of these Pokemon on different teams, like for example the Gyarados, and we're going to be reusing a lot of their spreads just because they have the same role and they're meant to do the same thing. So why change the EV spread, right? So for example over here, the Flutter Mane, you're going to see that Flutter Mane set a lot in terms of the spread, whether we have a Life Orb, Booster Energy, or Choice Specs. So the idea here with the Flutter Mane is because a lot of them are going like slower, bulkier, modest sets, I decided to, basically outspeed them, but still stay modest, right? So I just figured, let's go max speed modest. And then from there, let's go with the second benchmark in the modest nature, which is 116. And now as a result, your special attack stat is going to match your speed. And then if you have a booster energy, you're going to get a special attack boost, even though there is a tie. But because you're modest energy, you're getting the special attack. That doesn't really matter here because we have a life orb rather than a booster energy. But if in case there is like sun out, for example, and you're going to get a photosynthesis boost, it will be a special attack. All right. But the main idea with this EV spread is not only do you outspeed the other slower, bulkier Fluttermanes, but you're also able to survive a Palafin Jet Punch with Mystic Water. Non-Terra. All right. So non-Terra. Then from there, the Roaring Moon here, again, is Adamant 252. So with this set, you're able to outspeed Garchomps because you hit 171. And then from there, you're also able to hit the second bump in the Adamant Nature, which is 164. Then the rest just goes into defense and, you have 4 HP, 4 special defense. Those are the stronger of your bulk. So didn't really get too many points there. We just want a little bit more in defense just so that we can even out the bulk a little bit. Which also Gyarados can help us out there because we have Intimidate. So this way you can kind of compensate a little bit for Roaring Moon's lack of physical defense. Same with Fluttermane for that matter, because both of them have relatively high special defense, but not so great physical defense. So that's why like an Intimidator is really, really good paired with them, right? And we chose Gyarados here. So with Gyarados, the main thing with this spread is after either like a Tailwind or a Thunder Wave against an Iron Bundle non-booster, you're able to outspeed it, okay? And then from there, we just will go with like full HP, just a bulky Gyarados set. Impish Nature for the first EV bump in the defense, and then the rest just goes into special defense. So this way you get a nice little balance with its bulk. But the whole idea also with the Citrus Berry here is when you're taking a Fluttermane Moonblast, whether it's like Choice Specs or, Life Orb or whatnot, you're going to be able to proc your berry. And then as a result, the Moonblast is just going to be a 3-hit KO, which is actually really, it comes in the clutch when you need it. Okay. Speaking of Fluttermane, oh wait, we already talked about that one. The Chiyu here. So I just went max speed Chiyu, and because it's a nasty plot set, paired with the Amoonguss, I decided there's no need to go with like max special attack here. Let's put a little bit of bulk here with 84 HP, and then just round out the defenses here. I just went with like a little bit less in the special attack because I can compensate with Beads of Ruin and of course nasty plot here. The Amoonguss with 236 HP, again, that gets it to 219, which does 2 reasons. It lets you outspeed Annihilate Final Gambit, not outspeed, but, survive it because Annihilate hits 217 with the Final Gambit, and it optimizes for your Regenerator recovery. It gets it to a perfect 73 HP recovery when you switch it out because it is 1/3 of your max HP, which gives you a perfect 73, again, with this investment. Then from there, Relaxed Nature means you're getting a defense boost, so I just went with 156, just to hit the benchmark there, and then the rest just went into special defense, right? It's just a bulky mushroom. The Iron Hands, you always, well, not always, but most times, you'll see it go with max special defense here just for, a little bit more added bulk against potential Fluttermanes, of course, which does relatively well. And then from there, I just went with the third benchmark in the Adamant Nature attack, and then just a little bit of speed just to outspeed other Iron Hands that either have 4 speed or no speed. And then from there, I just went with 4 HP for defense. So this is a harder hitting Iron Hands, not as much bulk as some other Iron Hands that you'll run into, but the whole idea is the same here. With Terra Grass, you're able to ignore other Amoonguss and just not have to worry about it too much. And then the heavy slam tech is, as we explained before, is for the opposing Fluttermanes. And then from there, you just do relatively well against like other Gyaradoses, other Palafins. You can maybe even potentially force out a Terra, and then from there you're just able to sweep with your other options, right? But as far as the way the team plays, you can always lead Gyarados plus either Roaring Moon, Gyarados plus something else for that matter. Just get some attack drops, and then from there just potentially set up either a nasty plot or a Dragon Dance, and then Fluttermane most times than not comes in the back and then just finishes the job. The Iron Hands and Amoonguss is also something that you can also consider leading. Even Amoonguss, Roaring Moon for that matter, just to potentially either set up a Dragon Dance and then switch it out and for something else, and just have Roaring Moon deal a bunch of damage early and keep the Fluttermane plus something else in the back for finishing the game. All right, but that's our first team. Let's move on to the next rental. All right, so here's our second rental team, and this is another balanced team. Again, same template as the first one with a Dragon, Fairy, Steel, Fire, Water, Grass core, but this is featuring Garchomp and Corviknight this time. So the whole idea with Garchomp and Corviknight is because Corviknight is a flying type, you're able to Earthquake next to it, and then you'll also be able to set up your speed control with Tailwind, and then Garchomp can outspeed some other threats that are faster than it. and then just go for, you know, hard-hitting Earthquakes and Stomping Tantrums or Dragon Claws, right? We have to clear Amulet here just so that we can deter the opposing Gyarados and Arcanines. I did have Life Orb on the Garchomp for a while, and I liked it. It was actually pretty fine because I was able to reposition it even if I did get intimidated. But, you know, I feel like for you guys, just so that as a good starting point, it's better to, you know, put the Clear Amulet on the Garchomp for now. And then as you get better with your positional play, then you can put the Life Orb on Garchomp, for example, right? But instead of that, I put the Life Orb on the Chi-Yu this time rather than a Safety Goggles, even though we do have an Amoonguss here. So with this, I want to be a little bit more aggressive with the Chi-Yu this time and just be, you know, harder hitting Chi-Yu, you know, with Heat Waves, Dark Pulses, Terra Blasts. Of course, Terra Blast, Terra Grass is actually really good. It's great into like opposing Dondozos, great into, you know, Palafins, for example. You're just able to take their attacks relatively decently and then just KO them right back because you have a Life Orb. The Fluttermane, again, with Terra Steel, really good against an opposing Fluttermane because, you know, you're able to resist the, you know, the Ghost and the Fairy stuff, for example. And then Thunderbolt is our tech choice here, this time on Fluttermane, just for, again, the opposing, you know, Palafins and the Gyarados that are, you know, running around a little bit. So that's the idea there. Amoonguss is Amoonguss, of course. Same role as it plays in the other team. You're just able to redirect attacks, set up something, and, you know, just bring it into Trick Rooms if you do run into them, right? Also good into Wo-Chien, as we mentioned. Gyarados comes back again, this time with Helping Hand rather than Protect. So it's always like a give or take. You know, if you like Protect, great. If you like Helping Hand, great. But, you know, I feel like on this team, Helping Hand is actually really good just so that you can also lead Garchomp Gyarados and then just, you know, you can Earthquake next to your own Gyarados because you're a flying type, and then just go for Helping Hand, and that'll also compensate for Garchomp's lack of Life Orb damage. So then you just have like hard-hitting Earthquakes, hard-hitting Stomping Tantrums. Gyarados is a really, really good support Pokemon here. Again, it gives additional speed control in addition to like Corviknight's Tailwind, you know, Thunder Wave, Parahacks. I know there's like, you know, other Dark types running around, but again, you're not really Prankster, so you should be okay. Taunt, again, another useful thing. You know, again, Amoonguss is annoying, but Helping Hand with like Fluttermane and Chi-Yu, if they're going for like spread damage, it's gonna be very, very good. So you can even lead Gyarados with one of the other special attack sweepers. You can do like Gyarados, Corviknight, Gyarados, Garchomp. You know, it's a great lead. It's also good for as a pivot option to keep it in the back just in case if they do lead something physical. Then you can just switch it in and then, you know, get that key Intimidate, especially if they think they're going to be able to get a KO. But it plays like any other balanced team. Again, with great potential pivots and switches. You know, you have the type advantages, you know, with your double fantasy cores, not double, but, you know, your fantasy cores and then your Fire, Water, Grass core. All right, so let's get you into the rental code. I'm sorry, the Pokepaste section where we show you the EV spreads. Let's take a look. All right, so the Garchomp set here is nothing really else to really say about it. It's 252, 252. We didn't really do any Life Orb optimization because we don't have a Life Orb. The Chi-Yu does, so again, with 68 investment, that'll optimize for the Life Orb chip. And then from there, we just went max speed again, and then 180 special attack is just the remaining EVs there. And then, as we said before, the Fluttermane set is exactly the same, just with a boost energy and Thunderbolt this time. But again, meant to live the non-Terra Palafin Jet Punch. Gyarados set also stays the same, pretty much just with Helping Hand rather than Protect. The Amoonguss is Rocky Helmet, which is actually really, really nice. It's great for breaking Sash, great for breaking Dragonite. Multiscale comes in relatively handy, so definitely utilize it if you can in some of those matchups. The Corviknight here. So here's the thing with Corviknight. Like, I was running a set with like just 100 attack, you know, just for, you know, hitting the bump, the benchmark there. But because some Fluttermanes are going a little bit more bulkier now, I decided to add a little bit more attack just so that I can clean up some of those KOs that you might miss with the Corviknight, especially those physically bulky Fluttermanes. But then from there, you're able to at least survive a Chi-Yu Heat Wave, and you're also able to survive a Fluttermane Modest 116 Thunderbolt. All right, and then with Tailwind, with that speed investment, you're able to outspeed most things in the format. But again, the whole idea with Corviknight is just set up Tailwind, you know, the occasional Iron Head against Fluttermanes, Roost for recovery, of course, and then Brave Bird with Safety Goggles is really good into like the Amoonguss stuff. All right. Then from there, is there anything else we missed here? No, I think that's it. So let's move on to rental code number 3. All right, with rental code number 3. So this is actually not a balanced team. This is actually just another one of our weather teams that we've come up with that we want to release on the channel. You know, we always have at least 1 or 2 weather teams, just because it's a great archetype to be able to use weather teams, and all of them are viable in this game, right? Which is great because, in previous formats and generations, there was always like, some weathers just weren't great. Like, for example, Sword and Shield, who was using Hail? Almost nobody, right? All the others were actually decently viable. Very, very strong, of course, it was Sun. But at least now everything has fair play, so I decided to create a Sand team here, with Lycanroc and Tyranitar. But of course, the interesting and cool thing about this Lycanroc is it has Howl, right? That is our tech choice for this team. And what we want to do with Howl is buff up not only just your Lycanroc, but your Annihilate, your Tinglu, and even your Tyranitar, right? With just one Howl boost, a lot of these can just sweep through entire teams, right? And the whole idea is, even though you don't really have like speed control, even though Sand is your speed control because Lycanroc can outspeed everything, you do have a lot of bulk here because you're relying not only on the Tinglu over here, but also the Maushold. Because with Friend Guard, you're just able to add a little bit more bulk for the rest of your team, which is relatively nice. And speaking of Maushold, you have the classic Maushold Annihilate, and turn 1, they have like 20 different possibilities. So you can always take advantage of that, and in the best of 3, it can come in relatively clutch because you just have a different way of playing Maushold and Annihilate, and your opponent has to pretty much guess what you're gonna do. But again, you have options with super beat up into the Annihilate, make it do a bunch more damage. You can set up with bulk up, just for hide behind your Maushold's bulk and then just deal a bunch of damage, even though you're not faster than anything. Because you have Drain Punch, you're just able to heal it right back and deal big damage along with it. All right. Tinglu is a little bit more aggressive this time. Instead of like the Fissure stuff, I'm going to go a little bit more aggressive with Payback, Stomping Tantrum, and of course the Heavy Slam tech. And if it gets a Howl boost from Lycanroc, Tinglu actually just kind of run through a lot of different things. So if you're able to pull that off, that's going to be very, very good for you. Especially like +1 paybacks. Oh my goodness, they hurt so much. And of course, we gotta have a Flutter Mane Maushold combination, right? Now, normally you might be able to do like Choice Specs Flutter Mane here, but I kind of like Protect. I'm like a Protect Flutter Mane kind of guy, so I still stuck with Shadow Ball, Moonblast, and Thunderbolt. Again, the electric coverage for some of the water types that are still running around, but that's the idea with this team. You have like a couple of modes. You have Sand mode, you have Annihilate mode, and then you have like Tinglu to be able to support everything. Just take less special attack damage, and then Flutter Mane just comes into the end game and then just kind of cleans up. So yeah, that's our Sand team. So let's just take a peek at some of those EV spreads, shall we? Okay, so starting with Lycanroc, of course, it's 252, 252. Nothing really else needs to be said there. The Maushold and the Annihilate, believe it or not, is the same EV spreads that we used in our last month's rental. But the idea with the Annihilate, again, with this investment here, Adamant 36, that gets you to the first benchmark there. And the whole idea is you're just relying on your bulk to be able to take a lot of damage and just heal it right back after like, drain punches. But, with 180 HP, you optimize leftovers recovery because you get it to 208 HP, which will give you a perfect 12 HP recovery per turn. Think Rillaboom Grassy Terrain, just for that matter for a benchmark. Then from there, with Maushold and this amount of special defense investment, you're able to survive 1 Flutter Mane Moonblast. Okay, so this way you can take that hit and then just kill it right back with whatever you got. Right. The Flutter Mane, again, like I said, with the other 2 teams, same exact spread, meant to survive the Palafin Jet Punch. Tinglu over here, you don't really need speed, nor do we really need that much defense. We have a Maushold here to really help us out here. But Adamant 236, again, that'll get it to the benchmark. And then after potential howls, it's just going to be doing a lot of damage. A little bit of HP just for, a little bit more added bulk. Those are pretty much our leftovers. But again, Terra Grass, really, really good against like annoying Amoonguses. We can get around that for that matter. Just deal, damage right back. But that's the whole idea with these EV spreads. Oh, Tyranitar, I forgot. Tyranitar is just 204 attack. That again hits it to the Adamant benchmark. And then we just put 12 special defense just to optimize our Assault Vest because, we have an even number there, which is great optimization whenever you have an Assault Vest. If it was an odd number, then you're going to be left with a decimal, which would round down, and you don't want to round down your defenses, right? You want to round up, okay, in that sense. But we kept it to an even number there. And then 196 was just like pretty much leftovers. With 92 speed, you're just able to outspeed other base 60s or even just get a little bit more speed against like opposing Tyranitars. But, you know, you always want a little bit of speed on Tyranitar, even though it doesn't really need like a whole bunch, but a little bit is okay. All right. But that's the whole idea there. So now we'll look into rental team number 4 and keep this video moving. All right, with rental team number 4, this is actually one of my favorite ones just because I get to utilize the combination of Ceruledge, Gyarados, and Tinglu. And that was the whole idea when we were building this team with the viewer. They really wanted to use Ceruledge here. And I figured the best way to really use Ceruledge in this kind of format is to pair it with Gyarados and also add the Tinglu for a little bit more support. So with Tinglu, you're reducing special attack damage, and with Gyarados, you're reducing opposing physical damage, which makes Ceruledge relatively bulky, right? Because you're just able to hit those, absorb those attacks, and then just heal it right back with like hard-hitting Bitter Blades. And speaking of hard-hitting Bitter Blades, I decided to change, you know, a normal Ceruledge set, and instead of going with like a bulk up set, I went with a more aggressive Life Orb set, just to be able to, you know, now you can actually like pick up Fluttermane KOs and also deal a bunch more damage right back with Bitter Blades against like neutral hits. It's just so much recovery, but like Life Orb Ceruledge is actually really, really good. You have that immediate pressure, and you don't have to like waste a turn, you know, with your bulk ups and just go for like straight damage immediately, right? And that was the concept there. And then with like Terra Grass, you're really good into like, you know, Arcanine matchups. You know, you can't really take a Flare Blitz for that matter, so it's really good on switching. And then, you know, you're able to have priority against opposing Fluttermane. Like I said, Bitter Blade is good against like the snow stuff running around, especially, and then even like the Amoonguss for that matter. You know, you're just able to like one-shot that thing. But Ceruledge is a really good Pokemon in this format. I think a lot of people are starting to now pick up on it. And of course, you know, even against a Palafin, because you have like Terra Grass, you can just go Terra Blast into it. And then Amoonguss, same idea. You know, with Terra Grass, you're just able to get around it and just be, you know, just not even have to Terra Grass, sometimes just KO it with Bitter Blade here. Okay, Fluttermane is back once again. This time we do have the Booster Energy set, but again with Thunderbolt as our tech choice of coverage. Tinglu, not a clear amulet set this time, so you can intimidate it, but it is meant to be a little bit more supportive with the Assault Vest. But it is Earthquake, Payback, Stomping Tantrum, and Heavy Slam. Still an aggressive Adamant set rather than the Fissure stuff. You know, even though Fissure might ideally be better, but, you know, I just like some of the other moves that Tinglu has at the moment. And this is pretty good into, like, ladder stuff, right? So, you know, it's just relatively nice for Tinglu to be a little bit more offensive. So now with Baxcalibur, because I took away Bulk Up from Ceruledge, in turn, I gave Baxcalibur the setup move, and we went with Dragon Dance Baxcalibur this time around. So with Terra Poison Baxcalibur, you're able to pretty much handle the Fluttermane matchups relatively well. And then if you can get a Dragon Dance setup, you know, especially with the Amoonguss redirection, Baxcalibur can just kind of sweep through teams because, like, can you imagine Dragon Dance Icicle Crashes and Glade Rushes? Now, you do have to hit the Icicle Crash, but, you know, we have the Clover Look on the channel. We don't have a problem with that, right? All right, and then I put the Clear Amulet on the Baxcalibur, so you can't really intimidate it for that matter. So, you know, there's the advantage there. I kind of, like, made a little switch with the Ceruledge and the Baxcalibur here in terms of the sets that we want to give it. Amoonguss Rocky Helmet comes back here, and again, just being able to support Baxcalibur setting up or just providing, you know, redirection support with the other Pokemon and just healing them with Pollen Puff. Also really good lead with Tinglu, right? Tinglu and Amoonguss leads are like very, very annoying, and because they're hard to remove, and, you know, you have a healing move with Pollen Puff. So Tinglu just goes for a bunch of chip damage, and then from there, your Baxcalibur, Fluttermane, or Ceruledges can just come in the endgame and then just finish the games off, especially after things have taken a lot of chip damage. But that's the idea with this team. You know, let's show you the EV spreads here. Alright, so pretty much, again, the Fluttermane, Gyarados, and Amoonguss sets are pretty much the same. We're back to Helping Hand Gyarados here, and which is relatively nice. I like Helping Hand Gyarados. Tinglu is Assault Vest here, so we pretty much maxed out the special defense, whereas the other one, we gave it a little bit more HP bulk, but this time around, still Adamant 236, but this time we maxed out the special defense. Baxcalibur is Adamant 252, so I made it a super fast Baxcalibur, right? This is mainly because, you know, when you have Ice Shard, you know, you don't really care about your speed that much because you have priority, but now that we don't have it, I decided to just make it a bunch more faster, and this way, we're just able to you know, set up Dragon Dances and then, you know, outspeed everything in the format. That was the whole idea with this much speed investment. And we're still hitting the benchmark in the 204 attack. And then from there, I just rounded out the bulk and just split it up evenly with the defense and special defenses. Nothing really else needs to be said there. And the Ceruledge there, so Adamant 116, again, that's hitting the second benchmarking the admin nature, 228 HP, optimizes life orb chip. And then from there, with that 60 special defense, along with Tinglu, you're able to survive the Flutter Mane Shadow Ball into you if it is a super effective move. All right. And then the rest just literally went into defense because that was our leftover EV spreads over there. All right. And again, Amoonguss set is pretty much the same like we mentioned. But that is the team. And hopefully this is something that you'll like to use Ceruledge with, or at least it'll inspire you to create your own kind of Ceruledge team. But because I still think you still want like Ceruledge, Gyarados, and then from there you can add the Tinglu. That's a good trio. But at the very least, start with Ceruledge and Gyarados, and then the other 4 options is pretty much up to you. But give this one a go first, see how it feels, and then if you want to make your own Ceruledge team, you can definitely do it. But this is a pretty proven squad. We've tested it quite a bit. All right, so let's go into the final rental and get you guys out of here. All right, with the last rental, I figured I might as well just give you guys at least one hyper aggressive team, and it's going to be Murkrow Sun. So with Murkrow Sun, what that means is you have Tailwind support with Murkrow to make your team fast, and then you also have Sunny Day, which would enable the Great Tusk and the Flutter Mane on the team because of photosynthesis, right? It also kind of enables the Chi-Yu here because your Chi-Yu is a fire type as well, so you're able to go for hard-hitting heat waves and overheats, right, in the sun. But of course, Great Tusk Murkrow, that's a thing. You're just able to Earthquake next to Murkrow, and then you can even go for like these headlong rushes or close combats. And then next turn you can haze away those debuffs if you're still around there. But Choice Scarf lets the Great Tusk outspeed a lot of different things. So sometimes you don't even have to click Tailwind. You can just go for Sunny Day right away, and then the Great Tusk will have the photosynthesis boost, which will make it do a lot of damage, right? Then the Flutter Mane, same idea. So this Flutter Mane is actually Choice Specs. So with all that speed, now we can just pretty much afford to just go with Choice Specs here. Just go with all this coverage moves with Dazzling Gleam. Thanks to Chi-Yu is going to hit a lot harder than normal. Then you have Moonblast, Shadow Ball, and Thunderbolt, I should say. Relatively standard, consistent options. Terra Water Flutter Mane, by the way. Terra Water, I might add. So a good defensive typing there rather than Steel. I decided to go with Water this one. Chi-Yu is still, a Grass Terra here, but again, I put Overheat here just to be able to, blow something up just because, of the Prankster Sunny Day here. The Dragonite Qianpao combination is back on this team, so another Pokemon that you can Earthquake next to is the Dragonite and also the Qianpao, because with the Qianpao we have Terra Flying, so sometimes you can even lead Great Tusk and Qianpao, and then they may think you protect your Qianpao and then just Earthquake next to it, but little do they know is we can just click Terra Flying, and then now Great Tusk has the defense drops that it needs, and now it's just going to go for big damage with Earthquake, all right, next to your own Qianpao. But with Dragonite here, with Choice Band, again, I just went with a super aggressive Pokemon here. Outrage does a lot of damage. Extreme Speed also does a lot of damage. Facade, so Terra Normal, Extreme Speed / Facade. If you burn a Dragonite, that would normally hinder it a lot. But with Facade, actually, now you just go with a very, very, very hard-hitting move. If you burn the Dragonite, you just go Terra Normal Facade, and you just do a bunch of damage to a lot of different things. And not a lot of them can really take it. So that's the whole idea with Dragonite here. It's just gonna one-shot a lot of different things. Qianpao Taunt is really good. Again, like I said, Amoonguss is annoying. Sucker Punch Priority is really good. But from there, you have the Chi-Yu Flutter Mane combination. You have the Qianpao Dragonite combination. You have Great Tusk Dragonite, Great Tusk Qianpao. Even Murkrow, Qianpao, Murkrow, some other physical attacker is actually really good. So depending on how you want to play the team, you have different leads for what you want to do depending on the matchup. But you have options. And again, it's just a straightforward, hyper-aggressive Murkrow Sun team. All right, so let's just take a look at the pace. All right, and here is the Pokepaste for our 5th and final team. Not too many surprises, right? So again, Flutter Mane, same kind of spread as all with our other teams. The Murkrow, Great Tusk, and Qianpao, of course, 252 spreads. We're Scarfed. We have a Focus Sash. Might as well. The Murkrow has a little bit of bulk because we have a Violet there. Again, just to hit the bump in the defense stat. And then the rest just went into special defense. The Chi-Yu Life Orb set is the familiar set that we used with our other Life Orb Chi-Yu team. Again, just meant for a little bit of Life Orb optimization by having an HP and then a 9. That's the main rule that you want there. And then from there, max speed, and then just 180 special attack investment because that's your leftover special attacking stat. Dragonite here. I just added a little bit more speed just to outspeed other Dragonites. A lot of them go for 60, 68, 52 speed. I went with 100 here, just so that I could very calmly outspeed them if I have to play the mirror. And then 204 adamant is the benchmark there, so I figured I still hit that and take a little bit away from its HP, but 196 is still pretty good. All right, but that's pretty much it. Those are all of our hyper-aggressive teams. Those are all of our teams. So hopefully you like what you see here. And again, we gave you 5 teams. Try them out. Let me know how you do. If you have some questions about certain teams and how to play some of these matchups, feel free to ask in the comments section. I always answer my comments. I just feel like I want to give you guys the best information possible to be able to use it in your games and be able to win those games, right? But the last thing is, again, like we mentioned in the beginning of the video, all these teams were made during coaching sessions. So if this is something you're interested in, if you're trying to build a team, whether it's for like just regular online ranked ladder play or something for like an upcoming tournament or a regional, definitely consider booking a session with me with the tier 3 YouTube sub. If you look at the video description below or check the comment section for the pinned comment, there is a link where you can join the channel with that tier 3 sub. Or every single video has a join button. So if you click that join button, again, it'll take you to the coaching link and you're able to sign up from there. And then you can just message me on Discord and we coordinate from there. All right. But that's going to be it for now, guys. Hopefully you enjoy the rental teams. Let me know how you do with them if you do try them out. And we'll be back with another video in the next one. Peace out and have a good one.